and welcome to the J-Train Podcast. This is J-Train Jared Freid coming to you live from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. That's right, I'm on the road again. We're taping podcasts from the road again. They're socially distanced, don't you worry, hey out there. I'm wearing my mask everywhere I go. I got a rash behind the lobes of my ears because of this mask I wear. Yeah, that's right. I'm on the road. If you guys want to come to a show, socially distanced, of course, I got shows coming up in St. Louis and Indianapolis, and I hope the world stays open for you to come to those. But jaredfreid.com, jaredfreid.com to find those. Patreon, I'm doing 3 extra podcasts a week. So if your city has shut down, again, when I say things like that, I feel like I'm in a movie about the end of the world. It's so weird. But yeah, if your city's shut down, you're looking for extra content, patreon.com/JaredFreid, patreon.com/JaredFreid, 3 extra podcasts a week, $5 a month. And then also, we're putting out merch. If you want sweatshirts, hats, t-shirts, all that good stuff, shop.jaredfreid.com. We're giving 15% off for holiday season. Gift for mom, gift for dad, gift for anyone in your life. That's all you got to do. Shop.jaredfreid.com. And otherwise, that's what we got going on. Keep spreading the word. Keep telling coworkers and brothers and sisters and mamas and papas. People are looking for ways to put their brain on the shelf. And that's what this podcast is for. You go on a long walk, pop it in. We're going to talk about dating, relationships, lifestyle questions. We're going to unpack the luxury issues. That's what we do here. Very excited about today's guest. A fantastic comedian, hilarious, has their own podcast called The Shift. Katie Boyle, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to do this.
I'm pumped to have you. I want to let the listeners know, you have the podcast called The Shift that I have been on. I've been a guest on. We had a great time. I want everyone to go. The best way to find a new podcast is through one you already listened to. So if you're a listener here, you want a little appetizer of The Shift, have a little nom 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 of J-Train on it. So go find that episode. I'm sure it's easy to find wherever you listen to podcasts. And then go check out The Shift. If you could explain the podcast to people, how would you explain it? What's like the 1-minute way to explain the show?
I would say it's a dating, relationship, sex, anti-shame podcast. So basically, It was all about my journey being more comfortable with sex stuff, if that makes sense. So throughout the podcast, learned about porn, orgasms, all of that stuff. So it's meant to be kind of just becoming more comfortable with sex. And we give a lot of advice as well.
That's great. And I had a great time on the show. And you're from Ireland.
Yes, yeah. So yeah, that was the big thing about it, was coming to New York and being like, whoa, people talk about blowjobs on the train. That's
all they talk about. People get on the train and they're like, hey, have you given or received a blowjob lately? That's how it is in New York.
Yeah, it's so
people don't realize.
It's so comfortable. I'm like, wow, okay.
Well, do you think that has again, Irish Catholic, that is kind of the, is it, would you say the podcast has a lot, because it felt like we were talking a lot about kind of the coming from Ireland, and the way people talk about sex there is just way different.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I even think for women as well, there's a lot of slut shaming, or you don't know about your body. No one tells you where the clitoris is or that you should use it. So it's definitely to do with shame and religion. Because even though I wouldn't consider myself religious, but it's just in our country. It's we can't help it.
It's your background. That's a culture, I mean, it's like when, as an American Jew myself, people call themselves culturally Jewish, and it's that gets kind of a weird, because it sounds like, well, are you Jewish? What do you don't practice? And then you go, well, I have this mom that kind of fucked me up a little bit, it's and I say that lovingly. I think most people's parents have their imprint on them, and it's just that, again, it doesn't have to do with religion, but it does. It's all just kind of seep down through, the generations.
Yeah, exactly. I haven't been to mass in a long time, but I still feel shame. So it's just, a part of it. So yeah, like coming to America was great, and trying to like step away from that and feel more comfortable with like, but like it's funny because like a lot of it is as well, I feel like in Ireland, because we don't talk about sex, we have it younger, I think, than you guys, because there's nothing else to do. I think so. Like I lost my virginity when I was 15. So
oh wow, yeah. I lost mine when I was like 18, you know. So
yeah, all my American friends are the same, but yet they're like, but we masturbated as women. And I was like, I didn't masturbate until I moved over here, because I didn't really know how to do it, and no one told me. So it's like we're still doing it, but it's like we don't really understand about sex. We're not comfortable talking about sex. So, like, guys never asked me to do like certain sexual things until I moved over here. Like I didn't know that I should lick someone's balls, and like that was a huge fright for me when they asked me over here, because I was like 25 and I was like, why didn't anyone tell me? But at home we don't talk about those things. We're not comfortable. It's too embarrassing.
It's part of the American tradition. Just you gotta lick balls. That's what we do here. Just a ton of balls.
Now I'm nibbling them and all. Mouthful of balls all the time.
Listen, you're an American now. You don't even we'll make you a citizen. You're in.
That's on the test. Do you lick balls?
No, get out of this country and go back to where you came from. We lick balls in this country.
Yeah, so love America.
Well, you know, do you think like I do agree with you. I think there was that article that came out a couple of years ago where it's like millennials are having less sex than ever. And it's like, it's almost because of the dating apps and having this like kind of idea that like sex is in front of you at any time. And it's like, well, now that I have all these options, I'm going to say no to everything because I don't even know which road to go down. Like, it's almost, I would think it's a little bit similar where it's like, yeah, we talk about sex all the time, but like, because it's just okay, we're just like, I'd rather be on my couch. When you're in a place where it's not okay, you're like, I just got to get it. I got to find someone on the same page. If you're even close to the same page, you know, in Ireland, you're like, well, we're going to have all the sex.
Yeah, I think it's funny because it's like, because it's more of a taboo maybe, and because we don't talk about it, it's like kind of like, it was always like, since I was 13, I was like, I can't wait till I have sex. You know? Sure.
It's like knowing I would think it's like, it's got to be like knowing a TV show that not a lot of people watch. You know, like you meet someone in Ireland and you're like, oh, you like talking about licking balls? Like, oh my God, now that we have that in common, we should be doing that, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So
so how long have you been in the States?
6 years. Oh my God, 6 years next week.
Holy shit, Jesus. Congratulations.
Thanks, yeah. So, on the 24th, sorry, in 2 weeks.
Now, what is, as far as dating is concerned, what is what's the major difference? Like, you know, is in Ireland, are you going on dates, or is it like, you know, is it you up text there? Is it same there? Is it different?
So, well, there's a couple of things, because Ireland is different between the country and the city. I lived on the suburbs. So also I'm out of there 6 years, but dating apps have blown up since I left. When I talk about to my friends, they say dating apps, but I do think it's different. It's easier to date at home because it's just a bit more like, oh, we'll go to the pub for a couple of pints. It's not like we're going on a date, we're going for dinner, I'm going to interview you. And then it's just, if you have a couple of dates and you have fun, you're just girlfriend, boyfriend. And it's like no big deal if it doesn't work out in a year, you break up. There's not this huge fear of commitment or committing. And also there's less people to choose from. So the guy is just fucking delighted to have someone to have sex with. Do you know what I mean? It's not like, he's like, I haven't had sex in 2 years. This is great. I'm getting consistent sex. And so it's just easier. I found like in New York, they're like, oh, well, what if I can get her, I can get better. And they're never satisfied. Or there's like this weird labeling system. I find it kind of stressful, to be honest.
That is interesting. The idea that like, yeah, we got a couple drinks and we're boyfriend, girlfriend now, but like, that's not a big deal. We understand that doesn't mean that like we're heading towards, I like this big purchase of a ring that's coming up. Like I think the big purchase of a ring hangs over dating. Even if you're not even looking to get married, you're just like, yeah, this commitment means monetary loss.
And what does monetary mean, though?
Like money, like you're gonna lose money.
Oh.
Like
But that's not, I even feel like there's something more easygoing in Europe and Ireland and the UK that it's like, yeah, we're not thinking about that. I'm not thinking we need to move in straight away. I'm not thinking, it's kind of like, oh, if that happens, and even the money thing, I think it's more logistic. Like it'd be like, if we don't have the money, we'll just have a small wedding. Or whereas here, it all just seems bigger and grander and dramatic. So fucking dramatic.
It's even the way you're talking right now. I'm like, I'm more at ease. I'm like, yeah, why does it have to be more? Why is it gotta be so dramatic? And then I'm like sitting there, like I just the way you're fashioning it makes me feel better. Like I do think sometimes I talk to like I'm not, my girlfriend is in no way pressuring me to do anything, but we moved in together, and it's like, that is, the next stop on the train is coming, and that stop has a lot of different things that have to be planned, and it can't just, like she said the other day to me, she was saying, like, would you tell my friends if you were like, how you're going to engage, propose to me? And I was like, I didn't even think of that. Like, I was like, tell your friends. And I'm like, who do I tell? Which friends do I tell? Oh my God, this is it's not like I'm going to turn to her with there's no way that I'm going to turn to her with a twig that I tied into a ring while we sit under a tree. And I go, you know what? We're just together here. This represents. And like, she wouldn't look at me and go, oh my God, that's so romantic, that's so cute. No, it's like, you didn't plan, you didn't tell a friend, you didn't tell my parents, you didn't ask. It's like, oh shit, there's a lot to do.
Yeah, that's just how, that again is, there's all these pressures where there doesn't need to be, because it shouldn't be. Well, firstly, if you presented a ring to me on a twig, I'd be like, this is so embarrassing. Like, an Irish woman would be like, get out of here.
How how could you give me a twig? You should have got my grandmother's emerald. Like,
oh, not even that. It's just how corny that is. I like the way an Irish person, we're just so emotionally unavailable. Like, we're just not good with our emotions. It'd be like, sure, so should we get married? And you'd be like, yeah, grand, yeah. And that'd be it. You know what I mean? It's just not.
Again, the way you put it is so like, oh yeah, whatever. And it's like, that's not how it is to me here anyways.
Yeah, but like, I'm telling you, any Irish person, if the guy got down on his knee and there was someone videoing it and it was like for online, the girl would be like, or if it was in front of a big group of people, like, I'm speaking only for the majority, but that would completely embarrass. Like, we're a nation who get mortified. We don't want a big deal, not big fuss. Yeah. So it'd have to be like pretty low key. It's just very different cultures. 100%.
Well, I think this is so interesting, and I'm excited to have you here because this show is all about perspective. So we're going to do a bunch of emails. I want people to keep sending them in, jtrainpodcast@gmail.com. We're here with Katie Boyle at Katie Boyle Comic on Instagram. It's going to be all over my Instagram. Also, The Shift, the podcast. It comes out. Go subscribe to it. It's every Tuesday. It's called The Shift. Go. You can get involved with it. It's easier to get involved with the podcast knowing you got me to hold your hand. So I've been on an episode. I had a blast at Katie Boyle Comic. The podcast is called The Shift. Let's read this email. You ready? I mean, knowing your perspective, this is going to be interesting to hear your side of things. When should you move in together, and should your partner be obsessed with you? How would you feel if your partner was obsessed with you? If you were all they ever, you just knew they loved you more than maybe you're into it?
I know from experience it's a red flag. Like, it's so nice having someone obsessed with you. We all want that. Sure. But you have to ask yourself, if you want someone obsessed with you, what are you missing? You know what I mean? Like, I think it's usually you're like, oh, they're telling me I'm great and it's so nice to hear, but I don't think that's healthy. Yeah, they should love you, but I don't think anyone should be obsessed with you, because that can lead into like possessiveness. And I wonder what their definition of obsessed is, though. But I've dated a guy who was obsessed with me, and it was like,
what was that like?
It was too possessive. You know, he needed to like know everything. He checked my pulse to see if I was lying.
What?
Yeah, on my neck. He was always checking.
Hold on. Was he a professional lie detector? Like, what does he think he is?
He thought so.
Jack from meet the parents. It's like,
yeah, he was like, I'm just very like, I wasn't lying. So I was like, whatever makes him feel comfortable. But then, in hindsight, I was like, oh, that was definitely bad.
well, I mean, that's him showing that he's lacks confidence and that he, it's like, again, some people are like I know some people have a partner and they go, yeah, he's upset with me because he's fucking has no confidence. But that's, I love him anyways. Like everyone has pluses and minuses like to their personality traits. But you see that you have to admit to this guy isn't a confident guy.
Yeah. And I do think I'm sure that the person she's talking about isn't checking her pulse, but like I'm sure there's maybe similar things. Because when you say obsessed, it's like that. I just don't think it's healthy. I think the person should have love you, but also have their own thing going on or their own.
Also, that would be a lot of pressure. Like I think again, talk about pressure. Like if I was dating someone and I was like, they're like, yeah, I hitched the wagon to you, and whatever happens to you happens to us. I go, fuck, like I want to diversify this relationship a little bit. Like I need you to I don't need to be the person that lets you down or rises you up. Like I want you to have your own things that add to your day. Let me read the email. Let's ready. Hello, big fan of the pod. You Up and Shelby. Oh, nice. Shelby getting a shout out. I have 2 questions. Background. Me and my boyfriend have been together for about a year, and we live in different cities, about an hour away, but manage to see each other about 2 to 3 times a week. Texas is large, so the drive is not a very big deal for us. Everything is a drive here. He's 24, I'm 23. I am planning to move to his city when I finish my master's degree this upcoming spring. Question 1. We have talked about moving in together when I make the move to his city. At first, he seemed very excited about it. Now that it's getting closer, I feel the hesitation. Even though he will say things like we should live in this area or those apartments, I know he does not want to actually. Is it a bad sign? Well, how do you know? Like, is it a bad sign or is it okay to not move in together right away? I know he would like to live by himself for the first time, and well, I am just ready to make this step. So what do you think of that first question?
Well, I think, and this might be bad advice, but I think if you're going to be with your partner, like your life partner, someone that you could be with 30, 40 years, because we fucking live forever now, what's the rush to move in? Like, and I've had advice before where someone told me to move in with someone because they're like, we'll make you or break it. And it did break us, and that's fine. But it's like, actually, it's okay to go slow. And why shouldn't he live by himself for a little while first? Why shouldn't she live by herself? And that's something to be excited down the line. Like, I think people move in, I think a year is way too soon.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's too soon. I mean, for me, it's too soon for me. I don't want to speak for these people, but I do think if you sense hesitation from them, it's okay to be hesitant, first of all. That doesn't mean they don't like you anymore. But I think it's also okay to go, hey, I understand. Let's live in this city as boyfriend, girlfriend in different apartments. Let's live together but apart. We'll be together, but we'll live apart and see how the dynamic works. I think a lot of people are like, I think for me, I would want to live with someone before I ended up engaged to them. That's me. Yeah. I understand that. I totally feel that. But I would also say if you're living an hour away from someone, it's also normal to say, hey, I want to see what our dynamic is like when we live in the same city but apart. Like, that's as important as the living together thing, don't you think?
I completely agree. And I think, I don't know that like this girl, but I'm wondering if she's afraid that it's like a hit on her ego. If he doesn't want to move in, you have to take your ego out of it and be like, okay, it doesn't mean that he likes you less. It doesn't mean that he loves you less. It's okay to be like, okay, this is something we can do in the future. I think you're so right, because if she moves into her own place and he moves into his own place, they can still meet up and then have their own space, give you time to miss each other, because living together, you're just on top of each other and it brings so much extra pressure. I think it'd be a great idea for them to live alone first.
Also that idea of the pressure, create your own life, have your own life. What we talked about with being obsessed with someone, you got to get friends. You got to get a routine. Like, she said that she's graduating, finishing her master's degree. You're going from the the reality of college to the reality of real. College is like bumper cars. Even when you're getting your graduate's degree, you're on a campus, you go to class, you split your, like, maybe you have a part-time job, then you go to the real world and you use that degree. That is a whole different life for you. So, like, let's get used to that life. Let's get used to, like, when do you go to the gym after work? When do you grocery shop? When do you clean your apartment? Like, all of those things add up to making you a self-sustaining adult. And
and you totally agree.
But when you go ahead, I'm sorry about that.
Oh no, sorry. Well, I was just going to say that if she does all that, then she won't be codependent. If you move into a new city where you don't have friends, it could ruin the relationship. You're so right.
And then you're making friends together, and they feel like real friends, but it's like, are they my friends? Are they their friends? Now you're kind of like, and then when you start maybe not liking that person, you go, well, we have all these friends together. I'm stuck, and I'd have to leave this city where I have, again, let's create a life together that you could also have apart.
Yeah. And I think what adds to a lot of the pressures in these relationships that we talk about is that kind of, if you can kind of just do it as healthy as possible, like, I'm going to have my own friends, I'm going to have my own life, so that there's never the pressure that you can't step out of it, then you're more likely to stay together. Do you know what I mean? That you're not questioning that you're together because you're like, what would I do without them? And I think those are the more successful relationships.
I'm with you 100%. Like, I think most good relationships are when two people are ready to leave the table. Like you're like, yeah, no, this is great, but like, I could be on my own. And it's like, that's not to threaten someone. That's more to go, no, I want to be here. Like,
yes.
Oh
my, we had, I always say we, but I had a psychologist, is that what it is? I always get mixed up with the words, but she said this great thing, and she was like, if someone ever says, hey, I need my own space, or they're creating boundaries, it actually means that they respect you and like you, because they're not breaking it off. They're making it work. They're putting it, like, they're putting in
there's a negotiation.
Yes, exactly. And I think a lot of people go, their ego gets hit and they're like, oh, they don't like me that much. And it's like, oh no, this is actually them just making healthy boundaries.
Totally. She has a second question. Question 2, does your boyfriend need to be obsessed with you? I see posts all the time. If your boyfriend isn't obsessed with you, dump him. I know he loves me and thinks I'm funny, hot, etc. However, I do not think he's obsessed with me. He is okay with not seeing me for a week or me not being able to make an event. I would think this is a healthy behavior, but social media has me thinking differently. So, what do you think of that? I think that's such an interesting question. What do you think of that?
I think she's right. I think social media is wrong. I think he is very healthy. He's respecting her time. I've had this before where guys have thought I haven't liked them because I haven't got jealous. I've been like, oh yeah, no, it's fine. You don't need to come tonight. You can go out with your friends. Like I would always be like, irrespective of their time, because that means I like them.
Yeah.
So
and the reason this exists on social media, the reason if your boyfriend isn't obsessed with you, dump him, exists, is because of the nature of what gets big and viral on social media. We have to think that what is this person? What does writing that the writer get out of that? The writer gets out of that likes and retweets. There's never been a post on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram that got retweets that was just meh. But most of life is in the middle. Most of life is, I love my girl, I love my guy, we go out, we have a nice life together, and that's it. It's not, he's obsessed with me. That's the thing that gets retweets. That, listen, and I'm sure you know this from having your own dating relationship slut shaming podcast, is that when you talk to a therapist or a psychiatrist, those aren't the episodes that people are like, oh shit, you gotta listen. Like they go, oh, this was a really great conversation, I'm happy I listened. But it's hard, I know that there are podcasts out there that deal in extremes. Well, you better get to sucking this dick. And it's like, yeah, that's fun conversation to have. I think that's a good clip, but I don't know how real it is. The man better worship you. And it's like, all right, to me, in a world of endless options, if a girl I was dating was like, you better worship me, I'd be like, all right, well, good luck finding that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm kind of tired. I'm exhausted. You know?
No, and when you do that, when someone expects that, you're losing yourself. You know, that's so unfair. And I just wish everybody, I wish the BuzzFeed thing would be like, this is healthy and respect each other. And it should be easy. It should be easy. But people want fucking drama. They want to feel like, I always think like, you know, some of my friends who love this like dramatic relationship where it's like very passionate, but like bordering on aggression. And I'm like, just get a hobby, go play tennis. I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? Because I do stand up. I get all my adrenaline from that. I don't need any fucking, it should be just easy. You should just say what you want, say what you need. And then the person should just give it. And it's just, I just think people like an element of drama.
And also, it's like, you know, listen, we all have things we want to happen. We all have, like, this woman wants to move in with her guy. I don't blame her. But there are points in relationships where you have to go, do I like this person to make the exception right now? Not to make it forever. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like I want to say... Like, it's not like saying, like, if you don't worship me. No. I need to be worshipped on a Saturday night after we go on date night and, you know, we have a few drinks in us and he goes down on me. Like, that's, and then on Sunday, if he doesn't do that, I'm not going to end it because I love him and I love, you know, the other moments we have. You know, like, it goes up and down on how much you need from someone.
Exactly. No, 100%. And I think she has to remember, it's so condescending what I'm about to say, because I would have fucking hated to hear it when I was 23 or 24, but you are only 23 or 24, do you know, like, so it is important to like live by yourself for a little while, and it is important to just like, I don't think, have your own life too. So she has to remember they are still young. They're not 34, 30. These are things they can look forward to in the future. And I do think if she thinks about it that way, like, you know, it's so young. I know it seems condescending, but it's so young.
I'm with you. And again, we're all in a rush to get to the next spot, but it's like, you gotta go enjoy a new city. Like, how much fun is that? A new city, a new apartment, a new group of people to go out with. Like, that's fun. Also,
as well, like, so I'm always like, I want to find my partner, the person who's going to support. I don't know about marriage and kids. They're not important to me, but the person that I can create memories with, I can travel with, will support me. And so with let's say long term, and the guy not being like obsessed with her and needing to see her every day, this is really good for if she gets a job in LA, you'll have a healthy long distance relationship. This is someone who doesn't need you there all the time. This is someone you can build a future with. That's, I think, and it took me like this year to realize that. I was always dating these guys who like loved me after a week, and it was just so nice to feel so possessed. But that's not long. That's not fucking long term.
It runs out of steam. Just like the thing with the worship me. Like, I can worship you for like an hour, like maybe tops. You know, like The J Train podcast is brought to you by Solitaire Grand Harvest. Taking some time to yourself to relax and unwind is more important than ever. Playing a game can be a great way to decompress. I'm one of those people. I will set aside, I'll be like, okay, 10 minutes to play a game on the phone. I got like 10 games that I rotate through, and it's a way to put your brain on the shelf. Let the game take the wheel. And then I shake it off and I go back to what I was doing. I actually put game time onto my list of things to do just to give myself a little bit of a break. And Solitaire Grand Harvest is a super relaxing treat for the mind, full of fun and challenging levels you can play anywhere, anytime. Play your cards right to advance and earn an hourly bonus based on how many crops you grow. The more you play, the more crops you can harvest and the more bonuses to collect. Spin the bonus wheel to grab even more surprises like free coins, bonus cards, extra harvests, and more. It's solitaire like you've never seen, and it's free to play. Connect your social accounts to see how your friends are progressing in the game. Have some friendly competition while you're stuck at home. And when you need to take a load off, Solitaire Grand Harvest is a fun way to unwind. I'm loving this game. I've added it to my rotation of games that I play when I'm looking to take my brain, put it on the shelf. It's a great download. It's great to have on your phone for those days where you make the list and you got 30 things to do and you go, I need these 10 minutes to myself. So Solitaire Grand Harvest is a great download. Whether you're stuck inside or just dreaming of the great outdoors, now you can have a fun farm-style getaway right at your fingertips. Download Solitaire Grand Harvest for free today in the Apple App Store, Google Play, and Amazon. The J-Train podcast is brought to you by Roman. A healthy life includes a healthy sex life. But if you struggle with erectile dysfunction, you may not feel like your best self. If you want help with ED, Roman connects you with a real U.S. licensed healthcare professional who can prescribe the medicine you need. With Roman, you can get a free online evaluation and ongoing care for ED, all from the comfort and privacy of your home. A healthcare professional will work with you to find the best treatment plan. If medication is appropriate, Roman will ship you real medicine with free 2-day shipping. The whole process is straightforward, simple, and discreet. Getting started is simple. Just go to getroman.com/JTrain. Let me say that again. Getroman.com/JTrain and complete an online visit. Erectile dysfunction used to be tough to talk about, but now there's Roman. Complete an online visit today to connect with a doctor and take care of it. I'm going to tell you right now, this is a great asset. If you're dealing with it, if your partner's dealing with it, it is a non-invasive way to go kind of browse around. Go online, skip waiting rooms and who do I go to and asking a friend if they have a good doctor for these types of things. No. Get in touch with Roman. Just all you got to do, getroman.com/JTrain to get $15 off your first order of ED treatment, a free online visit, and free 2-day shipping. Wow, that's a huge deal. That's getroman.com/JTrain for $15 off your first order of ED treatment. Getroman.com/JTrain. JTrain Podcast at gmail.com, JTrain Podcast at gmail.com. Here with Katie Boyle. The Shift every Tuesday. Go get subscribed to her podcast at Katie Boyle Comic on Instagram. Can I swipe while pregnant? See, I love that this podcast is it's really all phases of life. You know, I'm graduating. Should I move in with my boyfriend? Now we get, can I swipe while pregnant? Hey, Jared and guest. I love everything that you put out and tell everyone about you. I about died when you shared my Insta story to the You Up podcast story. No problem. I'm 35 and I've been single for 4 years. I feel like I have tried everything under the sun to find a guy, but no luck. Being a parent has always been something I knew I would do and have decided that waiting around to try and find a partner isn't something I want to do anymore. I have started the process of having a baby on my own through sperm donation and will be doing the procedure in February. Some of my friends think I should not be dating at all right now, as it would be taking away time from a guy that might be looking to find a relationship and surely would not be on board with my February plans. Interesting. The way she wrote it is a little confusing. Some of my friends think that I should not be dating at all right now, as it would be, quote unquote, taking away time from a guy that might be looking to find a relationship and would surely not be on board with my February plans. Okay. Do you think it's okay to be dating now knowing that February is just 4 months away? Side note, this has not come up since I rarely make it to a third date anyway. Well, you're going to make it to a third date. B, when I do get pregnant, is there any way to convey to guys in my app profile that, while yes, I'm pregnant, there is no weird baby daddy drama to contend with, and I'm not trying to make them be an Insta dad? Do I have to be single and not date at all for all of 2021? Sincerely, Mama wants a man. So, let's start with A. Do you think it's okay to be dating now that the February is just 4 months away? What do you think about this?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think fuck it. Always do what you want. It's not, February, it could be a different thing. It could be like you're moving in February. Like, why wouldn't you still date? Have fun, enjoy yourself. This is actually the perfect time where she can kind of go, it's probably not, something serious probably isn't going to happen because it's going to be, so she should really enjoy herself now.
I think like she wrote something very specific and sometimes the answer's in the emails. Side note, this has not come up since I rarely make it to date 3. I think this change might be helpful. Let's try and look in the positive and everything. I don't know how this woman's dating. I just know they've been single for 4 years and they're 35. That's all I really know. And they've tried everything under the sun, but no luck. Okay, if you're speaking in terms of luck, I think maybe you're looking over the fact that maybe you're putting a lot of pressure on this on dates that you're going on, or every date has to matter, or every date has to lead to something. Maybe this moment in your life is what frees you. And this isn't to say that she's doing anything wrong. It's just more to say, listen, when I fit in my pants better, I'm a better person. You know, like, it's like, and I know that's like not the same as having a baby, but I'm saying when I buy pants that make me feel good, I end up have a different attitude. Again, maybe having a sperm donation and giving yourself into this, you know, this trajectory of life frees you from holding on so tight to these dates.
I agree with you. And I also think it's like, you know, when you're in a happy relationship, people sense it and more people come on to you, more people ask you out. So this is like her happy relationship. You know, her focus is now going to be on this sperm donation. So she'll probably come across a bit more chill, a bit more, it's not going to be the main. Then there is like energies we give out when we really want to like relationship or date, then people sense it. So for her, I agree with you. I think this could be the best thing. It's
like when you hold your fist tight, the knuckles get white. You know, like this might release your hand a little bit. This might, you know, give into, I'm having fun. Also, let me tell you right now, we're taping this on November 10th. It'll probably come out 10 days from now, wherever amount of days it comes out from now. Let's say it comes out November 20th. I don't think there's a lot of guys out there that are like, whoa, there's no chance for me to be in a relationship by February. I'm out of here. Like, I think this is like I think there's a lot of guys that would go, wait, you're doing what? Oh my God. And anyone you would date would be like, okay, well, thanks for that information. But also like we're having an enjoyable time that now is in this land of like, I don't know what the future will bring, but I know that this is a fun thing right now. Like, I think a lot of guys will appreciate that.
Absolutely. And I think she doesn't even have to tell anybody. Like, she owes no obligation. If it's just a couple of, she's like, it hasn't gotten to the third date. You don't even need to tell someone for 3 months. I know it's so bad of me, but I'm always like, do you know what I mean? It doesn't need to be that.
You shouldn't tell anyone you don't really care about. Like, that's a very personal and important thing. Like, and she's asking if she should not date in all of 2021. I think right now, I think that's way far ahead. Like, we don't know what happens in February. I would assume getting sperm donations and getting pregnant in that way is a process. So I think, again, let this free you up to have such a fun time until that date comes, and then you'll figure it out from there. I don't think it's worth it to sit here and go, well, I guess I'm hanging up the date coat because I got to put on my sweats for my pregnant. Like, I don't think that's helpful.
I agree. And also don't put we always put people in boxes, but saying like, oh, all men will be scared of that. You just don't know. Like, you don't let yourself be surprised. But when she's saying about the dating site, I think just be very honest, have it in your profile. Like, if she's obviously going to be visibly pregnant, like, definitely put that in your profile. Well, and what she said was perfect.
Yeah, like I listen, no baby mama drama here. You can deal with a sperm donor. Like, I don't know. Yeah,
that's funny.
That's funny. That's aware. I also know a lot of men who love dating single moms because they think that they have their perspective on things like, there's more important things in the world. And that kind of frees up men to feel like, oh, this is a little less pressurized situation. So there's that too.
Yeah. And especially for someone who maybe doesn't want, like, I know I would love to be someone who has a kid because I would kind of like to be a stepmom just because I don't want to give birth. And my stepmom was so amazing. And I knew a guy recently asked me out, but he was like kind of like nervous about the fact that he had a kid. And I was like, and he took a while to tell me, but I was like, actually, I'm perfectly fine with that. But his presumption was, oh my God, people will hate this. So it's like, yeah, let people surprise you.
Absolutely. JTrainPodcast@gmail.com, JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. Here with Katie Boyle, @Katie Boyle Comic. Go listen to her podcast, The Shift. I love this question. We are all over the board on questions. Not one does not relate to the other. Buzzhead reveal. J-Train, my roommate and I love your podcast and felt we needed to ask you this question. We've been having a hard time answering. Okay. We are in our mid-20s in NYC. My roommate recently buzzed her hair due to an anxiety tic. She got a wig so that when she's out in public, no one will know. Our question is, when is it a good time to bring this up to a guy she is seeing? How does she address telling/showing a guy her buzzed hair? We know hair grows, but not fast enough. Thanks for all your help. Sincerely, Buzzed and Confused. What do you think, Katie?
I think I want to tell her to reach out to a comedian I know who has a very similar situation.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know if you know her, but Riley Lasson, she talks a lot about this. She is bald, and she has talked about in her comedy when she's had to tell guys about it. She wears a wig as well. It's because of an ovary condition.
Oh, my. So this is, I didn't know, there's another name. I didn't know it was an ovary condition, but I know there's some men that don't grow hair.
Oh, yeah, I know there's like alopecia. There's
alopecia.
Yeah. And then there's people who pull out their hair because of stress. But like, again, and it was an episode of that.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, there's an Australian, it's like a fiance show where you have to get married straight away. But on it, the woman tells him, look, I wear a wig. And, and he was like, oh, yeah, it's okay. I think whenever you're dating them or if it's going to pop off during sex and you're going to have sex with them, yeah, give them a heads up. But I think people are pretty understanding.
I didn't even know that about Riley. I've met her a couple times.
Yeah.
I had no idea. Because I was thinking, I was like, wouldn't a guy know? But I guess wigs have come a long way.
Oh, yeah, they're friends. I was friends with her for years. I never knew. And just when she started talking about it in her comedy about it popping off when she was giving him a blowjob. And so, anyway, for this girl, she should probably
off during a blowjob. That's hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah. So she has this great routine about it, but she should definitely. I'd say anyway, this is so specific, but if she messaged her, she'd give her great advice on it, or just seeing
I'm sure she would
openly talk about it. But I think from hearing what she said is that the men have been very understanding about it, and it's never been and I think it's more just I think people are a lot more. It's more your insecurity or more your worry.
Sure. I would say I would more want to know about, if someone was like, I shaved my head, do an anxiety tick, I would more want to know about that they were okay with their anxiety. Have they gone about the process of seeking out medical attention? Have they spoken to therapists or psychologists, whatever? However you make sure to deal with that. If someone was like, I had an anxiety tick, I'm speaking with someone and I feel so much better, I would go, oh, good, I'm happy you're better now. The shaved head thing, to me, it's hot.
Yeah, me too.
It's so hot. And also, the wig thing is hot. Guys, I think the wig thing is I am of the opinion that the wig thing is one of the hottest things, because it's you're with someone you know and you care about and you're comfortable with, but also you're getting different looks. Guys love different looks. It's the reason they pull up 7. I don't know if women do this, but that's the reason a lot of guys will pull up 7 browser tabs of different porn that they're watching at once. They're like, oh, let me get this one. Let me get this one. Let me get this one. All in the same whack. So the idea, this is an exciting thing. And just like you said, that she's gotten a lot of positive reactions. Yeah, I love the idea of a look can change. I think a lot of women I know, I would think oh, he'll think this. I think guys a lot of times get this bad rap, and we've created it ourselves, where we talk so much about women and the looks that we like, and am I an ass man versus a boob man? So I think we've created this world where women think we're so specific in our taste that anything that's not within our taste is just disgusting to us. And it's it's so the opposite of that. I think a lot of men are on the page of yeah, that's hot, and that's hot, and that's hot. I think I think we're less picky than maybe the things we've said in the past would make us seem. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I agree with you completely, and I like the idea. Well, here's the thing is well, wigs have become normal as well because of Schitt's Creek. She wears different wigs.
Sure.
And I think for this girl, I don't know if this is good advice, but I wouldn't I wouldn't feel obligated to tell anybody I had an anxiety. You know, we all have our moments. We all have our panic attacks. We all have our freakouts. It doesn't define you, and it doesn't need to define you. And she can say to any man going forward, I shaved it off because I wanted to try different wigs. I wanted to try different hairstyles. I don't think she needs to share this until it's someone you love. Like, and I think there's so much emphasis on us now, like sharing all of our shit up front and being like sad. And I've got like problem, you know what I mean? And, or feeling obligated to the other person. And I just think you're so important. You don't need to you don't need to share everything. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes sense to me. I'm sorry if I sounded bad. I would think if you're gonna say the sentence to someone, you
didn't sound bad at all.
Oh no, but I'm saying if you're gonna say it this way, I shaved my hair doing an anxiety tick, then I would expect follow-up questions where someone's gonna go, "Are you okay? Is your anxiety in check?" Like, if you want to hold that information, if this is something that, like, again, just like the pregnancy thing, like, hey, I want to wait until it's someone I care about to reveal that. Yeah, I'm with you totally. Like, hey, I shaved my head. I went with a new look. I've like actually, I don't know how I like it. You're going to be with someone who's there because they genuinely enjoy your company. If you're on the date and you're in a wig and they think you look great there and you say to them, and then you go home with them and you're like, feel comfortable enough to go home with them, then you know, maybe you say something then, but I do it on your own time. I think it'd be funny to go on a date where you come in one wig and then the next date you're like, here's a second wig.
I think so too. And here's the thing, like if she's like fine and feels like she's mentally fine, because for this girl, we've all had our breakdowns. Every time I've broken up in a serious relationship, I've done something mental with my hair. I haven't gotten to shaving it off, but I'm telling you, it's coming soon.
It's coming.
I'm wearing a middle split now because I broke up with someone last night. So I never wear my hair in the middle. Middle split.
Oh, okay.
That's new for me. It's usually on the side. I've cut my hair short. I've dyed it black. You know, we've all had things. It doesn't define you. But if I were her and I were going to say, like, look, it's a pandemic. I had an anxiety attack. This is how I dealt with it. I am growing it back, but I would say it very low key, because if it's more serious and she's going through serious anxiety, I don't think she should be dating. I think she should be just focusing on herself.
I'm with you on that.
The J Train podcast is brought to you by Quip. It is so... Flossing is one of those annoying things. You're like, I know I should do it. Am I doing enough of it? Do I even do it right? Am I one of those people that's flossing the first 4 teeth in my mouth and then not getting to the back of my mouth? It's just one of those tasks that you're never sure if you're doing it right or enough as. And if you've met someone who's like a big flosser, they'll talk down on you. I think of flossing like I think of push-ups. Like push-ups, there's always someone that can look at how you do push-ups or how you floss and go, oh, well, I heard you put your butt down. Oh, get the back molars. You got to do it for 17 hours. No. So we know Quip, the electric toothbrush you hear about all the time, but it's their sleek, reusable floss pick you'll want to use next. It's great. It's packable for your toiletry bag. It's great to have in your in that that little closet in your bathroom. I'm a huge fan of this pick. The durable handle is easy to guide, restrings with a click, and comes with a compact mirrored dispensing case for on the go. Plus a single refill pod. It replaces over 180 single-use plastic flossers. It's better for your teeth and the environment. Not a pick person? Quip also has refillable floss string that expands to clean. Pair your floss with the perfect electric toothbrush for adults and kids. Quip has the simple guiding features you need, like time sonic vibrations with guiding pulses helping you brush better. You can personalize your routine with over 9 premium butt brush colors, plus anti-cavity toothpaste for every taste in mint and watermelon. And now you can get amazing rewards just for brushing better. Quip smart electric toothbrushes connect to the free Quip app. I have it. I love the app. I love looking at how I'm brushing and, whether I'm doing well or not. And whether, it's fun to keep your stats, and it makes you do it more and do it better. Quip also delivers brush heads, floss, and toothpaste refills every 3 months from $5. Shipping is free, so you can save money and skip the store. Bring delight to your everyday brushing and join the over 5 million mouths brushing with Quip, starting at $25. I'm going to tell you right now, I got the brush. I have it connected to the app. I'm using the the floss pick that is great. And the best part about the floss is that you're not using like 7 feet of twine. It's just the right amount, same as Quip. Right, it tells you the right amount of toothpaste, the right amount of brush time. It gets you on the app. You can see if you're doing it right so that you can achieve the goals. No more, hey, your butt's in the air. No more, oh, you use too much. Oh, you don't get the back. No, Quip is a great company because it's all about making sure you're doing everything correct with your toothbrush and your oral care. So if you go to getquip.com/JTrain right now, you'll get your first refill free. That's your first refill free at getquip.com/JTrain. That's GETQUIP.com/JTrain. Quip, better oral health made simple.
JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. Here with Katie Boyle at Katie Boyle Comic on Instagram. Go follow. Let's do another. Let me see if I got an attachment email. I like these ones with attachment. Okay. Can't get out of my head. Please don't use my real name. Okay, we never use real names. But I'm going to send this to you if that's okay. Let me make sure I have your email. So I'm going to forward you this email. And if you're listening right now, we need more emails with attachments because I love finishing off every episode with these emails, okay? So if you're out there with a screenshot, send it in, jtrainpodcast@gmail.com so we can unpack it. So, Katie, I just sent you an email. Let me know when you got it.
Okay, I'm refreshing. So let's see. No, we still haven't got it.
We're running out of attachment emails, so this is from way back. So I want people to send theirs in. But so if I haven't read it yet, but I just know that if some of this languaging doesn't make sense with November of 2020, this is because it's from back in May that I got this. So ready?
Yeah, ready.
I was talking to a guy for about 2 months. We connected on Hinge the weekend before our city went into lockdown, so never got a chance to go on a real date. We've gone on walks since. It's the only thing we can really do. We've sexted, got intimate over FaceTime, everything you can do to keep things going. This past Saturday night, I asked him if he was talking to anyone else. He dodged the question. I moved on. But Sunday, I just couldn't shake the uneasy feeling of the unanswered questions. See below for text exchange. So let's bring up the text exchange. I'll be her, you be him.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Wait, which one's her? Which one's... I forgot.
She's blue, because blue is her sending, so you be him.
Okay. How are you?
I'm a little hungover and tired. Listen. That's when you know a text is coming. We're about to get real. When you get the listen, here we go. Okay. I'm a little hungover and tired. Listen. I know this is an odd situation to be in, and I wouldn't blame you if you're getting to know other people. I just know that I can't be one or two. I can't be one or two. Sorry, let me read this again. I fucked up. I'm a little hungover and tired. Listen, okay. I know this is an odd situation to be in, and I wouldn't blame you if you're getting to know other people. I just know that I can't be one of two or three. There's a reason I asked you if you were talking to other people, and the way you dodged it last night made me feel a little weird. I think I need to be a little protective of my feelings and not take this any further.
Oh, sorry for me. Shit, sorry. All right, then. That's not really how I describe the situation and what happened, but I understand. Take care. Ugh.
She writes, I have one roommate telling me I did the right thing, but the other one is saying I fucked up. I've already ended it, so I know there's no going back, but please let me know how I could have approached this better so I don't fuck it up in the future. Well, let me start by saying, before I ask Katie her opinion, you didn't fuck up. Like, you did what you did, and that's great because you went with your feelings and you let them be known. And you're in the situation. You are where you are today because of decisions you made in the past, and where you are today is great and wonderful. So I want to I don't like the idea of oh, you fucked up. Like, for your roommate to say that, they're taking out their own personal things on you. So I think we can unpack the situation while saying it's okay what you did, right?
I think it's brilliant what she did, and I
Yeah.
think you like you've set your standard, and if you're not comfortable with him, and you're talking for a couple of months, doesn't matter if you haven't been able to be like really physically intimate, you're still doing it via online. So, I think she handled it really well, and I think what she said was very fair. And I think his reaction was actually very immature, because I think he could have just been honest and been like, yeah, I am talking to other people. You want me to call? You want to have a real chat about this? But he was kind of like, yep, got my out. See you later.
Well, that's the other thing is like, I do kind of respect what he wrote as much as he didn't do it with kid gloves. He didn't do it carefully or very nicely, but he did go, okay, you've told me your standard. You don't want to see someone that's talking to other people. I tried to dodge it. I tried to be nice about it. Being nice about it isn't what you're looking for. So I'm going to come back at you and say, I understand what you want. That's not what I want. I'm going to be out. Peace. You know, and it's like,
Yeah.
I don't like the way he did it. It could have been said better. It could have been, hey, I am talking to multiple people. I am not going to get in a situation where I'm going to be in a relationship via FaceTime, you know, via this way. I respect what you said. You want to be protective of your feelings. I can't promise that I won't hurt your feelings, so I'm going to go.
Yeah. I like it sounds like they did the right thing.
Yeah, I even though like the way, you know, if she's saying I regret that I didn't give an out, I don't know what out you could have given, because you said it's not going to be good for me. I don't want to be one of two or three. There are the difference between her and her roommate is that her roommate doesn't mind being one of two or three.
Mm-hmm.
That's the difference,
Yeah.
and both answers are correct.
Yeah, like for this girl, I'll just tell her I don't want to be one of two or three. It makes me feel very uncomfortable when I start building a connection with someone. I like the intimacy, and I don't want to feel in comparison to other people. I don't know. I'm not comfortable with that. And then that's okay. Just know that about yourself. And he could have answered back and went, oh, that's fine. I'll just continue to talk to you. But he didn't. So you weren't going to get what you want. And I don't think waiting any longer. I think what she did was like, I think doing the right thing is always hard. I think she did the right thing.
Yeah, and losing someone who is never going to be at your standard isn't a fuck up. You know, so like, you know, like you lost someone. To me, like, again, what sucks is that this guy gets vilified. And I think he said it in a way that's hard to hear, but he's not a villain. He went, like I tried to do it the way I normally do things. Now you're telling me it's really important to you. So, and again, him saying that's not really how I describe the situation. She probably wants more, well, how would you describe the situation? When he says that, that's the fucked up part. The fucked up part is that he made it seem like reality wasn't shared between them. And it's like, no, you don't want to talk to one person and that's it. That is fine. So he is being an ass.
Even the way he said take care, though, like, I mean, it's as if I were him, I would have been like, yeah, no, actually, you're right. I do want to talk to multiple people. I've had a great time talking to you, and thank you for saying this, because we're not on the same page. Best of luck with everything. And, you know, I usually am always like, who knows what the future holds, because I'm like such a weirdo.
Of course,
but you just don't know. The timing's wrong.
The timing might work out, and listen, that gives you hope on the like kind of the exteriors of what could really happen. But the reality is, the fucked up thing he did is he fucked with her version of reality. He basically said, that's not really how I describe it, the situation, what happened, but I understand. It's like when he says it that way, there is this kind of thing he's hinting at where he's like, well, if you thought of it differently, maybe you'd see it my way. And it's like, no. She made it really black and white, which is fine. She's like, I don't want to be one of two or three, and I need to protect my feelings. And then I think the reason she's asking if I fucked up is like, she's going, prove me wrong. And he goes, no, you're fucking right. Take care. Gotta go. And it's
I think
like,
for her, it
Go
still
ahead,
feels like a
I'm
rejection. It's, it just still feels like a rejection, So
Sure.
that's the thing that she has to, because you probably did expect him to be like, no, I do want to see just you. So
No, he chose multiple people over one person, and it's not that they're better or worse. It's just that they fit what he's comfortable giving himself to. And again, I don't think he answered it to take a shot at what you saw the situation being when you nailed it, because it sounds like you nailed it because he's like, gotta go, is annoying. But we're here to tell you weren't wrong.
oh, and also as well, she needs to think, because I do this a lot, and she needs to think, okay, for the future. So if he's questioning her reality now, imagine with serious conversations down the road, you'd feel crazy. And you can't
Sure.
have someone who's like, well, that's not, you could literally be like, oh my God, that wasn't my perception of the situation. I'm like, and if that is the case, if you're going to say that that's not the perception of the situation, pick up the phone and explain it, like talk about it,
But-
be like, oh, this is what I meant.
Mhm.
But it feels
he
like you're
ca-
making me feel crazy.
If he cared about changing the perception of the situation, that's again what we talked about earlier, like getting up from the negotiation table. Like, he didn't care enough to do that, so he just said, take care. That's okay. That you got to get away from this guy. And I mean, that's okay in the sense that, like, that's who this person is. He's not willing to work harder for it. You're better off without it.
Yeah, I'm proud of her. I want to give her a
Yeah.
hug. She did like so many things where you tell your friends, you're like, and we all stay months longer hoping they'll change. They'll see how great I am. They'll see I'm worth it. And then you're just like, ugh, I should have done that 3 months ago. So she did the best thing.
Absolutely. JTrain Podcast at gmail.com. JTrain Podcast at gmail.com. Katie Boyle, thank you. This is fantastic.
This is so much fun. Thank you.
So much fun. Everyone go follow Katie at Katie Boyle Comic. Her podcast is called The Shift. Go get involved. Go listen. I'm Jared Freed. We're here every Monday and Thursday. We'll be back next episode. Boom. Don't forget to like the video you just watched. I have many more. Subscribe to the channel right now. Like and subscribe, like and subscribe, like and subscribe, you fool. There's even a bell you can click to. Now you've got your week set Monday through Friday. I'm here for you.